French officials plagued by bedbugs hold emergency meeting saying it's hell. France to employ sniffer dogs to sniff train seats for bedbugs. Bedbugs and Balenciaga. Could Paris's bedbug infestation spread to the United States? Well, here's the bad news. It probably already has. We're not just talking about the bed bugs that are in France that influencers and celebrities are bringing back over from Paris Fashion Week, but we're also talking about the infestations that have happened in New York, in San Francisco, in big cities, and yes, Los Angeles, which is where I had bed bugs. I'm gonna tell you my bed bug story, but Los Angeles is actually being overtaken with rats. Fun fact, apparently the rats took over a homeless encampment, so bed bugs or rats, pick your choice.
Bedbugs versus rats.
Now listen, I know that a lot of people don't like this topic, but please try not to click away because this has some important information you need to know. Number one, what these Cymex lictularius bugs look like and where they hide out. Number two, what bed bug bites look like and how to take care of them if you've got them. And then number three, if you're traveling or if you sleep in a bed, how to make sure that you decrease your chances of getting infested by these bed bugs that, yes, are very, very hard to get rid of once they are in your couches, your cushions, your bed sheets, your walls, because yes, they actually can come out of walls through where the pipes are because they like heat. That's why they find you to be a tasty treat late at night. I'm so sorry. You don't want to look away from this because even though it can be a difficult topic, this is your survival guide. And even though France and Paris are being spoken about in the news right now, bedbugs have actually taken over many cities, and you can almost guarantee that they're definitely in a large city near you somewhere right now. The question is, how can we prevent them from spreading, and how can we prevent you and I from getting bit and taking them home to our own beds? But no matter what, bedbugs are kind of something that travelers always have to keep in mind. And if you are a traveler, you're probably most at risk because a lot of bedbugs travel through hotels and beds, and yes, a lot of travelers pick them up either on their body or even on their clothes and their suitcases when you put them on the bed or on the floor, and then take them to another hotel, to another city, to another state, or even back home to their own beds and sofas and couches. And when bedbugs take over, they can be so difficult to get rid of. So if you are a traveler or concerned about bedbugs in your own bed, you can definitely call an expert like an exterminator to get a professional opinion, but it's best to actually take a look yourself. And what you're looking for are these little bugs that kind of look like apple seeds. They're super tiny. You can fit about 10 to 15 of them on a penny. And they are these little crawlers that love heat. And specifically, that's why they like to hang out around beds, because when you're asleep at night, you're warm, you're quiet, you're not moving, and they can come get you. Well, what should you look for? Because sometimes you won't actually see the bed bugs themselves. You might see their fecal matter, aka their scat. We're talking about poop. You might see their little grains of poop, or you might actually see their exoskeletons. Basically, they shed, and you might see those little casings all over the floor. Here is an example of what can happen if you don't take care of stuff. This is obviously a job for an exterminator, but all of these Crispies that look like curly little cornflakes, that's bedbug exoskeletons. And if you see these exoskeletons or the fecal matter or the bedbugs themselves, you probably have a problem. And the best place to look for these, either in your own home or yes, while you are traveling, is literally to pick up the mattress, check around the rim and the edges of the bed, check the bed frame, and even check some of the areas where the beds touch the walls. And the best time to look for them is actually in the middle of the night or in the morning. Before we talk about how to prevent them or get rid of them, we need to talk about what they look like, because bedbugs can look like scabies, or they can look like mosquito bites. Now those are very different because mosquito bites are obviously for mosquitoes, and scabies are different because scabies crawl under the skin and they're microscopic, whereas bedbugs crawl on top. But because bedbugs crawl on top of the skin and they bite trying to look for heat and nutrients, a lot of times you'll actually see the lesions in a line, and not just any line, but a zigzag line. Now, of course, when in doubt, always see a doctor or a dermatologist, like get a diagnosis. You don't want to think it's a bedbug bite, and then next thing you know, it's a brown recluse bite and your arm starts to fall off. Not actually fall off, but you know, tissue necrosis. We don't want that. But basically they look like these lines of little dots, and while they can be itchy for some, they're usually not as itchy as other bug bites. Now, if you are itchy, there are things you can do about it. But before we talk about treating these lesions, let's talk about how to prevent them, because preventing is easier than treatment. If you're a traveler, do not put your suitcase and your clothing and everything down on the bed or on the floor or anywhere before you check. And if you are going to put your stuff down, consider putting it down on like an opened up plastic bag, like from Target or CVS, or one of those luggage racks. Prevention is easier than treatment, but if you do have a bedbug infestation in your own home or in an Airbnb, the best thing you could probably do if you can afford it is call an exterminator, or have the landlord or hotel people, whoever, have them call the exterminator. Exterminators have access to specific ingredients, specific chemical mixtures that can actually really help to get rid of bedbugs and exterminate them properly, as well as preventing them from coming back. And a lot of these mixtures have to be handled with care. Somebody who is a professional can actually come in and take a look at things and know what to look for. Now, if you do want to DIY it, there is one of the most effective things that, yes, can actually be consumed if you get it food grade, and it's diatomaceous earth, which, fun fact, is also in our skincare. Mark Rober did a great video about this. He basically tested bedbug bites and what actually helps to get rid of bedbugs. And the way diatomaceous earth works is that it's this powder. It's basically these crushed up microscopic shells, and when this powder is put on bed frames or other places, it actually coats the bedbugs so they can no longer move, and then it helps to get rid of them or to kill them out and to make sure they cannot breed and reproduce. Long story short is that as someone who cares about animals and tries not to discriminate, I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm gonna give you the facts and the expert advice as it is so that you can make your own decisions based on that. But diatomaceous earth is a quote-unquote natural substance, and yes, it can be consumed. Problem is, just because it can be eaten if it's food grade doesn't mean that diatomaceous earth should be inhaled. And one of the issues that a lot of people have had is that if they put diatomaceous earth in their bedrooms or around their beds and they're breathing it in at night, if they're prone to asthma or have lung issues, it can actually make that worse or cause issues in the long run. So this is something that you do want to be careful of, and when in doubt, call up an exterminator or somebody that you trust and ask them. Now, diatomaceous earth is an option. They also have these little bulbs so you can kind of spray it around baseboards and cracks and things like that. It's very effective, it's inexpensive, and yeah, it could be DIY'd, but just know that everything comes with a risk. Even caffeine and water comes with a risk. Remember, water can be a poison if you consume too much of it. Now, diatomaceous earth can prevent some bed bugs as well as get rid of existing ones, but there are also ways to heat them out. Bed bugs die in extreme temperatures. So for example, if the temperature is below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or if it's above like 100 and I want to say like 170 or 200, actual number here, if it's above that temperature for 2 hours, they go kaputs. And Charlotte Palomino is amazing. She's an esthetician and founder of Do Skincare, and she's actually had to deal with bed bugs because she lives in New York City and unfortunately has had to deal with these little buggers, and she hates them with a vengeance. She did a fantastic video about some bed bug statistics and specifically what she uses. She uses this apparatus called Zap Bug, and it basically has these radiators that heat up the entire room for like 2 hours to kill everything out. Go check out her page because she has some amazing information. But also, if you struggle, call an exterminator, and if you've got these skin lesions, call a dermatologist. Now, if you have these Z-shaped lesions, if these are bed bug bites, what can you do? Well, first we need to see if they're really a problem or not. Thankfully, unlike scabies, bed bugs don't burrow under your skin. Scabies do. Scabies is a whole other situation. Well, we don't want the bed bug bites to get infected, and really we're just talking about discomfort. So again, if you like touch something like this, it's not contagious. It's not gonna spread, thank God. Scabies, again, scabies are different. With bed bugs, you want to get rid of the discomfort and the redness, and of course, prevent any infection. So the first thing is that if you're itchy, you want to do something to stop the itch. There are tons of different creams, specifically hydrocortisone creams, that can help to stop the itch, but any bug bite cream should do. Now, thankfully, bed bugs don't always itch, and if that's the case, the best thing you can do is wash it with like an antibacterial wash. Mild soap, mild water. You just don't want it to get infected, especially if it's fresh. And of course, you want to make sure that you cover it up, like with a bandage or something like that. If it's oozing, if it's pussing, go to the doctor. Go see the professionals. Do not deal with that at home. But if it's just a little bit red and raised, you just want to protect it and keep it out of the sun, right? Now, in general, if you get a bite, what we want to do for it is prevent any infection, keep it protected, and then help with wound healing. So anything that's good for wound healing is going to come into play here. This means things like hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, skin strengthening ingredients that our skin naturally produces, such as ceramides, can all be a great bet. And just keeping this area moisturized and giving it some of those antioxidants like from vitamin C is important. Keep it covered with a band-aid. Of course, it's not a good idea to put your bed bug bite out in the sun. I don't know why anyone would do that. And you don't have to like specially dot sunscreen onto them, but if you're gonna be out in the sun, just put sunscreen over, you know, the entire area as you would normally. Now, one additional thing is that if you want to use those hydrocolloid patches, Dr. Dre, a dermatologist here on YouTube that I love so much, she's actually recommended using the pimple patches, the hydrocolloid ones, on bug bites, specifically if they itch, so you don't scratch at them. And they kind of help to remove that moisture. Now for pimple patches, you can get those little hydrocolloids with like salicylic acid and acne fighting ingredients. You don't really want to put those on there. If you did, it's probably not a harm because salicylic acid is antibacterial. But if you're going to pimple patch them, just use a non-medicated pimple patch with just basic hydrocolloid so it can kind of protect that area. And with all of these celebrities and influencers at Paris Fashion Week potentially bringing bed bugs back, again, please remember anybody can get bed bugs. Like, let me tell you about the time that I got bed bugs, but anybody can get bed bugs. It's not a moral failure or hygienic failure if you do. If you have a bed bug story, like, please share it. And I think it's important to destigmatize because bed bugs are a part of the ecosystem. And just like there are other bugs or specifically arachnids or arthropods, there are other things that we share our world with. They are an inevitable part of it. And we should understand what to do and how to take care of ourselves and how to mitigate our risk instead of shaming or fear-mongering or pointing fingers at people. Because listen, I understand, you know, France is freaking out and there's a lot of them over there, but let me tell you, they're probably in every single city right now. Like, there's probably bed bugs everywhere at some point. And let me tell you about how I got bed bugs in Los Angeles. I actually had a horrible experience at this hotel. It was during the Taylor Swift concert, and I unfortunately did not get tickets to the Taylor Swift concert, but I had booked this hotel on Hotel Tonight, which is like an app that allows you to get like last minute hotel bookings. And they had like all of these freaking gorgeous photos of the room, and it showed that there was like a pool and it was supposed to be like really nice in Beverly Hills, like how fancy. I get there and the room is nothing like the photos. It's completely different. People can like see through the windows. The shower and the bath had like spots and like kind of grody stuff on it. Like there were certain areas of the room that were falling apart. It was pretty bad, but at least I didn't think there were bed bugs. Well, guess what happens? I ended up staying there, I think 3 or 4 days. The room was not even in the hotel where the pool was, right? This was, you had to walk down a back alley, like across the street, up an elevator to a completely different floor where there was construction. The room was nasty. It had like this grime in like the bathtub area. Certain things about it were like falling apart. I feel bad for the staff and the management because upper management probably didn't give them the agency of what they needed to do. But as I was checking out, it was like my last day and I noticed this line of welts across my arm and it kind of looked like they could have been in a zigzag pattern. And you know me, like I was trying to get out of there by like 11 a.m. at checkout. I think I was running a few minutes late, but I was like, I want to get out of here. And as I was checking out, they asked me, how was your stay? And I was like, do you want to know? Do you want to know? Because I'm really good at holding my tongue, but I will tell you how my stay was. And I was trying to be polite about it because I know it's not their fault. But I told them how disgusted I was with this entire experience. It was the Avalon Hotel. Oh my God, don't even get me started. And the manager came out and when she saw the bed bug bite, she was like, oh, we need to take care of that. And I was like, oh, it's not your first time? Oh, it's not your first time, is it? And thankfully, I didn't bring them home. Thankfully, they went away. This is a different pimple. It's not a bug. There's no more bites. I actually think it was on this arm. But yeah, it can happen to anyone. I should have checked the mattress when I checked in. I didn't bother. That is my fault. But at least I did not take them home with me. And hopefully, everyone who's traveling right now is not taking it home with them either. But at least if you're traveling, you now know what to look for, what to do. And hopefully you can share this with others that you're traveling with so that they don't bring them home to you either. Send this video to your friend who's always on a plane. They will thank you. They will be like, oh my God, you actually give a about me, even though my skin is crawling. Does this topic make anyone else itch? Anyways, always stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF. You know, put some pimple patches and some hydrocortisone cream on those itchy bites, but sunscreen, why not? And always be beautiful, both inside and out. I love you, and go watch Mark Rober's video. If you love science, go watch his video, okay? And send this one to your traveling friend who will thank you and really respect you afterwards. Mwah! Bye!